Hi students, I wanted to talk to you about what is earth science. I am your teacher that's going to be starting this school year, and I think that this is a great physical science class to have. Other options are physics and chemistry, and I think studying our own Earth is awesome. So there's different parts of Earth science. One is astronomy, which kind of seems a little odd, like that's sort of like space science, but that is lumped into earth science as one of the sciences. Then there is also meteorology, and meteorology is one branch of science that I honestly would never do because they look for different patterns in the atmosphere and try to predict the weather. And everybody always makes fun of the weatherman for being wrong. And basically, trying to figure out what all those patterns are and predict exactly what's going to happen is very, very difficult. If you look into chaos theory a little bit, you'll understand a little bit more. But essentially, the flap of a butterfly's wing in one country can cause a hurricane across the world with chaos theory. And I would not want to be a weatherman. I wouldn't want to have to predict every little thing. Um, the next one is geology, and geology is basically studying all of the rocks, fossils, the landforms, everything that makes up the earth. And then the next branch is oceanography. I love this. Oceanography actually deals a lot with the chemical properties of the water and the movement of the water, how the different parts of the water are moving based on their salt and temperature. So I really like that one. It affects a lot of things. Then there's environmental science, which is the basically the living things and the non-living things that affect organisms. And then there's a number of subspecialties underneath that. Okay. So there are lots of parts of earth science, and it's so important because it does affect us as a society so much. All the natural disasters are important to study, how to keep people and the land healthy, how to keep plants and animals healthy so that we can keep living here. It's really important. It's also important because it affects how people view the earth with the changes over time. Here are different um, events in earth science that have happened over time. I'm sorry for sneezing in the middle of that. Um, but some really important ones, I think, is that it wasn't until 1913 that we even discovered we have an ozone layer, that we have this atmosphere that covers the outside, and all the different gases that are in our atmosphere are actually held in place there by gravity. So there is this ozone layer that protects us from the sun. And then it wasn't until the 1960s, this is crazy, that seafloor spreading and the fact that the seafloor is spreading apart away from each other and then collapsing in some area, like subducting, going underneath other things, that wasn't discovered until the 1960s. And that's when different projections about how the earth could have moved over time was land masses could have moved was figured out. So Earth's systems are there's four main Earth's systems, or four main parts of the Earth. And one is the geosphere. This has basically everything from the crust of the Earth all the way down to the core of the Earth, is part of the geosphere, the rocky part of the Earth. The atmosphere is the part, obviously, where all the gases float above the Earth. And the hydrosphere is the liquid part of the earth. And there's actually part of the hydrosphere that is the cryosphere, which is frozen. But that's part of the hydrosphere. The cryosphere is the frozen part of the earth. And the last part of the earth is the biosphere. This is where all the living things are as part of the earth. And here you can see in this picture the atmosphere, the biosphere with the living things, the hydrosphere with the water, the geosphere with the rocks, and I don't think I specified here the atmosphere with gases. So those are the four different spheres of the earth, and that's our little lesson for today.